Power rankings coming out of week 6 in the National Football League. We begin at the bottom with the Denver Broncos. It was another loss for Denver against Kansas City. It feels lifeless. At least the defense came up, but defenses tend to come up big on Thursday Night Football a lot. So I just don't. It's just bad, right? Like it's really, really bad in Denver right now. It's falling apart, quite frankly. So I wonder if they're going to be a team that's active at the trade deadline. A lot of talk around Jerry Jeudy being unhappy right now. There are a lot of teams that could use a high-level wide receiver like that, and I think Denver kind of just needs to start over. At 31, it is Carolina. They got off to a good start against Miami, so that's something, but this is a bad football team. And they don't have their first-round pick next year, so they have no incentive to be bad. We will see what continues on with Carolina. At 30, it's Arizona. This is one of those ones where it's not a long season in the NFL, but 17 games does tend to expose things. And as we're going on, the boy they try hard doesn't... It's just not working now for Arizona. That is starting to fall apart and really come into focus there. At 29, it's Chicago. They're probably going to be lower if Justin Fields is out for any length of time, but man, that game was right there for them against Minnesota all night long. At 28, I have the New England Patriots. It continues to fall off of a cliff in New England. It's just so bad. And as I've said before, if it's any other guy other than Bill Belichick, he's getting fired. So the Patriots are in the bottom 5 this week. Once again, our bottom 5, it goes New England, Chicago, Arizona, Carolina, and Denver. At 27, the New York Giants, at least they hung with Buffalo, right? So there's something there, but no, this is a lost season with the Giants. I don't know if they're this bad, but I certainly didn't think they were that good coming off of a run to the postseason a year ago. At 26, it's Minnesota. They got a win over Chicago, but that's one where you would have... I've said it before, really would like you to treat bad teams like bad teams. And they just didn't. They simply did not. So we will see what Minnesota is able to put up here against teams going forward. At 25, the Indianapolis Colts, they're probably without their starting quarterback, Anthony Richardson, for the rest of the season. Gardner Minshew, it's kind of falling off a little bit more and a little bit more. So I wonder if the Colts are really starting to fade off into that dark night now. At 24, the Green Bay Packers, they were on a bye, so not a whole lot there. But it really does seem like the optimism I had around this team about the weapons stepping up and Jordan Love stepping up, it's kind of falling off now a little bit. That's the theme of this, is teams falling off. But it feels like it's going to fall off a cliff in Green Bay pretty quick. At 23, Atlanta would love for this offense to finally show the promise that they showed at times, but it's rough out in Atlanta right now. At 22, we have the Vegas Raiders. This is a team that I still don't think is very good, but somehow they sit at 500, which is kind of this next little chunk here. Vegas and the Jets, who are just ahead of them. Now, the Jets, you can actually see it because they have, what's that word? Talent on this team. The Raiders don't. I continue to be befuddled by how they win. They're not using their best offensive player. Their best defensive player is just an absolute game wrecker in Max Crosby, and maybe that's the way that they are doing this. But this is absolutely a team right now that should not be where they are at, and I don't know. Like, they're not beating great teams. The wins this year, like it's a win against Denver, it's a win against the Patriots. Like there isn't a whole lot there resume wise to get really excited about this team, but some crazy how there they sit at 3-3. Same with the Jets. Like I said, at least they have a bunch of talent, right? Like you can see how they do it. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, on the defense, it's everybody. That defense is playing really, really well. So, and the coach has got them going. So it's a good year for the Jets. And now there's talk that Rodgers could come back for the back quarter of the season. That would be insane. It kind of feels like it's just holding this team hostage so they don't go out and get another guy, but that's just me being hypercritical of Aaron Rodgers. You got to ask questions, right? Coming in at number 20, it's the New Orleans Saints. They have a game coming up tonight on Thursday Night Football against Jacksonville. The defense is very good, but this offense, it is almost comical. It's so bad that there's no way this offense should be this much of an issue this season. With Derek Carr, with Olave, they have Kamara back. It's just that there is nothing to this offense at all. And while this division is going to continue to stay up for grabs, this is a team that a lot of people thought would run away and hide with it, and that is just simply not the case with New Orleans. At 19, it is the Washington Commanders. I don't have a lot to say. I don't think they played all that well against Atlanta, and they still won. So good on you. Coming in at 18, it's Houston. Again, the offense didn't have a banner day, but they did enough to beat a New Orleans offense that, like we said, struggled a little bit. So they just keep finding ways to win, which you really, really like as a team that is looking for a little bit more success and a little bit of some bright spots again without their first round pick. So this has been a good foundation year for the Houston Texans. At 17, it's the Titans. It kind of feels like it's over, doesn't it? Like they can't move the ball through the air. It feels like it's time to just let Will Levis do his thing and just see what they have, because it's really bad in Tennessee offensively. The defense is fine, but offensively, this team just cannot do anything right now. They're the definition of stuck in the mud. At 16, it's the Rams. It's a good win. It's not a breakaway win or anything like that, but this offense continues to show it's much more in sync and it's much more effective than a lot of people thought. They're probably going to be a playoff team in the NFC this year. At 15, it's Pittsburgh. They were on a bye. 14, it's Seattle. That's a tough loss against the Bengals. Like, that was right there for them all game, and they just refused to take it. At 13, Tampa Bay. That was a humbling loss against Detroit. I still think that this Bucs team is going to go over the win total of 6.5, and I still think they have a really good shot of winning that division for us this year. 12, it's Cincinnati. It's a win, but it's an ugly win. And this is a spot where they are probably more on reputation than what we've actually seen on the football field. 11, it's the Chargers. I really should drop them more. Just saying that. They do not feel like a team that is on the cusp of a top 10 spot, but this is more looking at what they should be than what they have been. At 10, it is Baltimore. It's a fine win against Tennessee, but it's not one that you're going to write home about. At 9, Cleveland, that is a gigantic win for the Browns against the 49ers without your starting quarterback. To go out and do that in that spot, monumental win for them. So this is a team that's for real, and I was slow to it. We will see how for real they are when their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, piece of shit Deshaun Watson, comes back. Jacksonville came back to North America with a bang, with a big win. They're in at 8. At 7, Detroit with another statement win against Tampa Bay. I'm still not putting them in that top tier yet. They are right smack dab in the middle of that second tier. It just, I need to see them beat a for real team again. You know, it seems unfair, but I just do before I'm taking them 100% seriously. At 6, it's Dallas. It's a good win against the Chargers to get back on track. 5, it is the Buffalo Bills. Not an overly impressive win against the Giants. That probably should have been a loss, so they don't move up for me. At 4 and 3, San Francisco and Philadelphia both have their O's go this week, but still a couple of teams that can now kind of learn from this, build off of it, and move on. I don't think that there is anything actionable to take from those losses other than, yeah, they had a bad week. At 2, it's Miami, a big come-from-behind win against Carolina. And at number 1, they seem to be a little bit boring, but they still have the best player on the planet. It is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are your NFL Power Rankings coming off of Week 6.